Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, your number one source for income-oriented investing. It's good to be back in Panama. Just got back from Montreal. It was a brutal trip back. Our plane was actually delayed for 8 hours. We were 8 hours stuck in the Montreal airport, but at the Air Canada lounge, at least. I've never been so happy in my life to purchase the business class seat. So it was a fantastic trip. We had some really great meals with Harvest ETFs, Hamilton ETFs, but of course, more importantly, I got to meet a whole bunch of you. To all of those of you who came out to see us in Montreal at the golf course. It was amazing. We had great conversations. We shared, our journey together. That's what it's all about, really. This channel is just about us sharing our investment journey. I got a bunch of questions. We had a panel, met some of the other influencers like Brandon Beavis. And if ever you're interested in Adrian in a t-shirt, Financial Nirvana Mama, all kinds of cool people. So it was really, really fun. Doing the event and talking to like-minded people who are investing for the long term and just trying to do the best they can with their money for them and their family. So if you're interested in seeing any pictures, I got a bunch that I posted on Instagram. So in case you didn't know, we do have an official Instagram account, passive_income_investing. The link is in the video description below, probably in the social section near the bottom. But it was great meeting you. We're all in it together, just trying to share our ideas and stuff like that. And speaking of sharing ideas in our journey, it's time for a portfolio update video. It's a massive one this month. A lot of big changes, especially mostly in my main portfolio, because there's a lot of great ETFs that just came out and I wanted to get a piece of them. So you'll find out in a second what I bought and sold in the month covering July. So this is portfolio update 27, which will cover all the moves I've made in July. So what will I show you in this video? Well, I'll give you an overview in Passive, the software tracking tool or portfolio. Wow, I'm a bit messed up. Still have a bit of jet lag. So my portfolio tracking tool, Passive. So I'll show you the overview so I prove to you that the numbers in the thumbnail are legit. And then we'll look at the portfolio breakdown in Excel files, which is much easier to digest. And of course, remember that if it's too small, you could download the actual Excel file on my website for free. Just go to free tools and resources and will be the very first link. And don't forget, there's also a blank portfolio template there in case you like my template and want to use it yourself. So you could download it on my website for free. So let's get started. It's time to unveil my entire portfolio for everything that happened in July of 2023. Let's get started. All right, everyone, this is my passive dashboard, which covers my entire portfolio, all 6 of my investing accounts. So, of course, as you already know, unless you're new to the channel, I do have 6 investing accounts separated in 2 completely separate entities. Our 3 retirement accounts, which is my RSP, my wife's RSP, and my Lira. And my main portfolio, my cash cow, which I live off of pretty much, our 2 TFSAs and our joint non-registered cash account. Of course, everything here is translated back to Canadian dollars. As you know, for my retirement accounts, it's all in USD, but this is converted all to Canadian. All 6 accounts total over 1.2 million. Finally cracked that $1.2 million mark, because I did invest quite a bit of money in July, and I'll show you that, of course, later on in the video. Don't forget that in case you're newer to the channel and you're going to be confused about what I'm going to show you later with the portfolio breakdown, I do have a video called My Portfolio Explained video, where I explain everything regarding my portfolio, the structure, the tracking, the strategy, the taxes, because in this video, I don't cover that, unless it's going to be a 3-hour video. This video is really to review all the moves and changes I've made in the previous month, which in this case is going to be July of 2023. Of course, don't forget to download Passive, guys. It's an amazing tool that will help you manage and track your portfolio. Don't forget that I do have a recent video called Passive, Is It Worth It? You have it here, right here. It's this one here, where I go through the passive features, and I also have a coupon code or a reference code where you could get 50% off the elite membership. So make sure to check out that video if you're interested, or if you're having trouble tracking your portfolio. If you have multiple accounts, it's a really, really good tool. You could connect them here. And don't forget, the elite membership is 100% free with Questrade, a great reason why you should switch to Questrade, in my opinion. So now that you've seen the overall number, let's do the breakdown together. First, we'll cover the retirement accounts, which has not been much action at all. And then we're going to focus on the main portfolio, because there is a lot of changes this month. Let's get to it. All right, everyone, let's start with the three retirement accounts first. Again, I apologize. I'm still jet lagged. I'm probably going to make a bunch of mistakes, articulation mistakes here. So really not much to talk about here. I barely did anything. So if I look at the RSP tracker, what did I do for July? I just bought $2,000 more of HYGW in my account. So remember that Erica's RSP, my Lyra, it's all on drip. So it's completely hands off. It's just a matter of updating the number of shares every month, and there's no issues whatsoever. With my RSP, it is a manual drip, so I get all the dividends, and once I have like $1,000, $2,000, a good chunk, I invest it wherever I want. But no big changes. Besides adding a little bit more to HYGW. So it's still chugging along here. So you have CLM, SVOL, CEFD, HYGW as core or primary positions. Then you have the secondary positions, the more really fun ones, OARC, TSLY, NVDY, of course, from YieldMax, which have come out with a whole bunch of other ones, which I probably will be investing in for sure very shortly. And then of course you have Clip, which is the KWeb one with cover calls. So all in all, I'm almost at 24% yield. So remember, my RSP is really my fun account, and I'm able to have fun with it. It's not one I think you should follow unless you could really tolerate a lot of volatility. But the reason I'm okay with it is because Erica's RSPs are really good counterbalance, which is more safer. It's more classic, very safe in my opinion, and it's just dripping away. So nothing much really to talk about for the RSP, but get ready, guys, because I'll give you a little preview. There's going to be some big changes for the RSP going forward. So that is about it for the retirement accounts. If you translate what I'm making monthly to Canadian dollars with a 1.33 exchange rate, I'm a little over, I'm just under $7,400 here. So 73.27 Canadian every single month. Of course, you're going to adding this amount to the main portfolio income really gives you the total of what you see in the thumbnail and the title, which we're going to check out right now. So let's check out the main portfolio, which is comprised of our two TFSAs and our joint cash account, because that's definitely where all the action was in July. All right, everyone, we've got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. First of all, I've reorganized the portfolio Excel sheet. So now you have 3 sections instead of 2. You have diversified funds, sector-specific funds, and one specifically for my crypto. And don't forget that you see the ones in gold. These are what I consider my core or foundational positions, and of course most of them are going to be diversified. These are the funds where I feel that you could just keep investing in them. It can never be a wrong thing because they are diversified. So let's get to it. There's a lot of changes to cover, a lot of big moves, and of course we're going to go to the main portfolio tracker here to track where I track everything. Don't forget, by the way, if it's too small, you want to follow along, you're having trouble seeing, download it on my website for free in the free tools section. So here are the changes in July. So I've sold LBS. I know many of you already knew about this. The Inner Circle members, of course, know everything in advance before the portfolio is unveiled, because when I do my portfolio unveil videos, it's always for the month prior. So in case you didn't know, I have launched YouTube memberships where one of the perks is daily trades notifications. So whatever I do that same day, you will know about it. So you'll know in advance what I do with my portfolio. So in case you're curious, you go to any one of my videos, you will see this little join button here, or you click on the name of my channel here, you'll see that little join button. So as soon as you click on it, you will get the video explaining what these perks are. And of course, one of them you'll see here is real-time stock trade alert. So I highly suggested if you like my content, you want to support this channel further and you're a fan of the channel, this is a great way. And it's really inexpensive. It's only $3 a month Canadian. So getting back to the portfolio, so I did sell off LBS. I've made a 44.25 profit, and instead I did buy bank. So in case you have, I'm sure you're figuring it out by now that I'm really in the process of streamlining my portfolio, and I'm trying to, if I see a move or a split share fund replacement that has pretty much the same amount of stocks, a very similar yield, and it makes sense to me, I will do the swap. So for me, bank was a no-brainer. It's pretty much almost the same 10 stocks as LBS. I was up on LBS. Bank recently, and this is the ETF from Evolve ETFs, recently updated. I'm sorry, you see that right here. Bank updated their monthly distribution. So very high yield, just under 15% yield. So there you have it. I got rid of my LBS. It was $20,000 worth of LBS. I had a profit, almost 5,000. I basically just put it in bank with a solid 14.82% yield. Really, really good. Of course, all these moves means higher yield and higher monthly income. As you could see from last month, 75.81. That's how I'm making now. How much I'm making now every month is a big jump. Also, my yield is increased. So these moves are if a newer fund comes out, especially ETF, I think it's, ETFs, covered call leverage ETFs are a little bit more efficient than split share funds. You don't have that missing dividend question. If it makes sense, I will do it. So that is the first move, made a nice big capital gain. The second move, and this is a big one. So you guys might be in shock for this one. I did trim 50K off HYLD. Did realize a capital loss, 4,500, not really a big deal. It kind of offsets the LBS gain anyway. And I did buy USCL. So in case you haven't seen my video recently with Horizons came out with amazing ETFs recently. So USCL is basically a leveraged version of their USCC, which is basically kind of like S&P 500 with covered calls and 25% leverage. Over just under 14% yield. This was very, very attractive. And why did I trim 50K off HYLD? For a couple of reasons. Number one, it's a perfect fit. I wanted to get USCL, which is basically S&P 500 with covered calls and leverage. What is HYLD? It's trying to replicate the S&P 500 with covered calls and leverage, right? So the swap made perfect sense. Before USCL, HYLD, there was really nothing similar to it, but now there is USCL. So I think it was a good swap. Plus, HYLD was really, really a big position. I was very overweight on it. Now, by the way, it's still my number one position at 15.5%. I absolutely still love HYLD. I believe in it. It will probably always be one of the biggest positions in my portfolio ever. And don't forget that I have a massive position in HYLD.U and my wife's RSP. Of over 100,000. So I don't want you to think that I have, HYLD something happened. I absolutely love HYLD. It has nothing to do with HYLD. I just thought this move made perfect sense to me because I really loved USCL, USCC. If you look at the performance, is excellent performance, and USCL is simply that ETF with 25% leverage. So my portfolio, I'm always looking to balance it, and definitely USCL now is going to be a primary position that covers the US market along with HYLD and HDIF. So those three, HYLD, HDIF, USCL, really are US focused. I know HDIF has that Canadian ETF, but it's mostly US. These are my core diversified overall US market covered call leverage position. So I think this makes a lot of sense. And I do have a nice chunk in here now in USCL of 6.27%. So that was the second big move. So a trim of HYLD, simply got USCL. I also trimmed HMAX a little bit, took a small loss to put it in another leveraged covered call ETF that just came out from Horizons, BKCL, which is literally BKCC with 25% leverage. So that it's basically just to have some diversification in terms of strategies, in terms of covered call strategies in the Canadian financial space. I absolutely love the Canadian financial space. The banks are very, very strong. So now, check this out, guys. I have 30K in HMAX, 25K in bank, 15K in BKCL, and I wouldn't be surprised if next portfolio Unveiled for covering August, there's going to be a bit more in BKCL. So I want to have I want to make sure they're nice and even. I'll probably get to 30K in all three of them just to have, different covered call managers, different covered call strategies on the Canadian financials. But BKCL is a little bit different because it's the only one that's really only the 6 banks. HMAX and bank are really they have life insurance companies and other things in there. So now for my financials, I have FTN, HMAX Bank, BKCL, and call. Can't forget about call. These are secondary sector specific. That's why it's in the sector specific box here section that covers financials. Remember, our retirement accounts, it's basically all US. There's not much Canadian exposure, so it's okay to, I'm going to have quite a bit here in financials or Canadian and US financials. But if you add them all up, all my financial specific ETFs is about 15%. So it's not so bad, and I think it makes a lot of sense. So let's go back to the tracker. So that's basically the moves, the big streamlining moves I made. And by doing all these streamlines, even with the capital gains and losses, which doesn't really matter to me, if I go to my main portfolio and I look at the 2023, even with all those moves, my capital gains, I'm still up. I have almost a $5,000 capital gain altogether if you count all the moves in green and red that you see here, where I sold GDV, a little bit of GDV took a little loss. I sold SBC to swap into HMAX, HYLD, etc., etc. If you tally them all up, I'm actually still in capital gains, so it's all good for that. So if you're thinking about, should I do it? Well, listen, there's a couple of factors you can consider. You don't have to do anything just because I do it. Think about it. Look at your book price. See how much yield you would gain. And you got to have the decision from there. Make the decision from there. But yeah, USCL, I really, really like that ETF. I think it makes a lot of sense. And it's a great companion, in my opinion, to HYLD. And guess what? USCC is actually in HYLD, by the way. So yeah, it made sense to me. Besides that, besides these three moves and these three, I did put a lot in RS. $15,000 in RS in the month of July, guys. This was really my big, I would say, buy for July's RS. Real estate is down, which means RS is going to be down because RS is just a collection of some of the best REITs in Canada. So I'm happy to announce that I hit the 100K mark. So RS and HDIF are my number 2 positions now at about 12%. So I don't own any physical real estate, as you all know. So and I really like investing in real estate. And I put an objective that I always want at least 10% overall in real estate. So now I'm at 12.5 here with RS. Hit the 100K mark, but more than that, I finally crossed the 10% yield mark because of, obviously when you buy at a lower price, you're averaging down, you're increasing your yield. So I'm finally past 10% yield. My OCD is satisfied. And I pretty much have 10% yields for everything except for HDIF, besides the crypto funds. So those, let's see what else. I did buy a little bit of GDV. GDV has been going down, but the NAV has been relatively strong. So GDV's premium percentage is in the 15 to 17% mark, which is very, very rare. Usually GDV trades at over 25% premium. So I added a little bit of GDV, bringing it to $50,000 here. GDV is probably my absolutely favorite fund from Brompton, global dividend stocks, in a split fund that has never missed a dividend. What else did I buy? Add a little bit to call, which is the US banks, and ENCC $2,000, which is Canadian oil and gas. So now my call position is at 15,000 even. So that's the moves I've made. So in gold, as my primary positions, you see HYLD, HDIF, USCL, very, very big percentages, very big positions that's diversified, mostly US market. Then you have HDIV, which recently raised its dividend, and I'm happy to announce that with the dividend raise, I've crossed also the 10% yield mark on HDIV. HDIV has recently celebrated its 2-year anniversary. I got a video coming up for that where I'll cover that. EIT, GDV, also core diversified position. So, these are really, really big, important positions for me, for my portfolio. You do have DGS, which unfortunately hasn't been paying out, maybe next month. So yeah, technically, the 75.81 a month, a passive income, 11% yield. That's if GDV pays. Technically, for this month, it should be 0, and you have my real number here. Will I keep DGS? I think I'm going to keep it for a little while yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if I also streamline out of that. So the only other, to be honest with you, split share funds I see myself streamlining out of would be DGS and FTN. FTN, I don't really mind keeping it because I have no doubt it's going to pay, and I'm making a really, really nice yield. But DGS, I'm at 19%, over 19% if it pays. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to be patient. I do not want to sell DGS at a loss. That would hurt my feelings, but if I have to, I have to. We'll see what happens. But of course, if you want to know what I do live, you got to be a PII Inner Circle member if you want to see that. So RS, the only big core position that's sector specific, real estate. And then you have the financials, FTN, HMAX, Bank, BKCL, and Call. ENCC and ENS energy. So ENS is just Enbridge, and ENCC, which has really, really high yield. I see myself probably getting to 25K in ENCC and maybe just investing 2,000 or a couple of grand every month in ENCC, slowly building that position up to 25K to at least match ENS. I think it makes sense. I'm also thinking about maybe trimming ENS a little bit down to 20K and putting it into ENCC. I see 25K ENCC, 20K ENS makes a little bit more sense because ENS is Enbridge, only one company, and it's already in ENCC. So besides that, there's the YTSL, the Tesla, which I haven't touched since I bought it. I bought it at a really low price, making an astronomical 26% yield. Recently came out with a video with the purpose yield shares. Make sure to check that out. And then you have still the BTCY and ETHY. These are my two biggest laggards in my portfolio. That's really bringing the overall. I'm down strong on both of them. But I do see myself adding 5K to each of these before the end of the year. But remember, these will always be secondary positions, and I will try. I have a goal to never go over 10% exposure overall. And right now, I'm at 8.8%. So I think if I add 10K, I'll still be under 10%. So that's it for the changes. So big changes, everyone. And let's go through the totals. So, I'm making 75.81 a month, 11.30% yield. This is, of course, if DGS pays. Disclaimer on that. Capital is fine. I mean, I'm not that this is what I don't really care about the most because it doesn't really make a difference. Capital goes up and down every day. All that matters for me is the income. But I'm down less than 10% overall. If you keep averaging down, you keep investing, you'll be completely fine with this. So total profit realized, which is all my passive income that I've received, which is realized, plus all the capital gains that I've made realized, just over $367,000. That's what you see on the thumbnail, right? Realized profit. I don't care about unrealized or just on paper. That's unrealized, it's unreal. I live in the fantasy world, so I only care about realized profit. So if I would sell off my entire portfolio tomorrow, I would make a total return of 37.68% because it would be $741,000 what my current portfolio is worth, plus all the realized profit. So I'm way ahead. Time is always your friend as an income investor. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. We're going to do this again next month where I will cover all my moves for August. And get ready because there's some big changes coming in the RRSP. And of course, if you want to stay ahead of the curve, ahead of the game, and know what I'm doing live, and you're interested in other benefits, you're a fan of the channel, please consider joining my PII Inner Circle. It's only $3 Canadian a month or $1.50 US if you live in the US, and it's well worth it. Watch this video, click on the join button, you watch this video, and you'll hear about all the perks you're going to be getting. So yeah, that's it. See you next time, everyone. Hey, don't go yet. A few reminders before you leave. Did you know that I launched a YouTube loyalty membership program where for only $3 a month, you could become a PII Inner Circle member where you will gain access to exclusive content, exclusive videos and live streams, as well as other perks and benefits, including a really cool weekly opportunity report. That's right. If you're interested, just click on the little join button next to the subscribe button to see what it's all about. Also, make sure to follow me on Blossom and download Blossom. It's a social investing app, which is really cool. You could share your portfolio, follow other people's portfolios, including my own. My username is Adrian_PII. So download it with the referral link below. Not only is it free, but you could actually earn cash by taking these really small, quick 1-minute courses. Really awesome. It's a no-brainer. Also, make sure to visit our website, passiveincomeinvesting.ca. That's where you could book a one-on-one private coaching session with yours truly, with myself, where you could ask me all the questions you want. All the information and booking information is on the website. Make sure to check out that video on the homepage there to see how to book a one-on-one properly. Also on my website, you could purchase my digital product, which I'm very proud of, the ultimate DIY investing package. This is a reference tool or a companion tool that will help you build your own portfolio. So it has lists of funds, it has sample portfolios, and it covers both the Canadian and US stock markets. And the good news is you'll only ever have to buy it once because it comes with free lifetime updates. And my plan is really to update the version every single year. So make sure to pick it up. Also, I have Questrade and Passive referral links below. So Questrade is the broker that I personally use, and Passive is the broker companion tool or assistant that I use. Really cool program, really cool software. So I have referral links for both of those. Questrade, $50 of free trades, And Passive, I have half off for the elite membership if you're interested in the elite membership. And even if you want to start out with the free membership and upgrade to the elite afterwards, use my referral code so you could still get that 50% off. And don't forget that the elite membership of Passive is 100% free if you use Questrade. For social media, we have a very successful and big Facebook group, private Facebook group with over 14,000 members where we all try to help each other out. So make sure to join that group. Information is below. We also have Instagram where you could follow us or more personal stuff when it comes to our life here in Panama. And there's LinkedIn as well. So as usual, everyone, how do I leave you? Continue to stay safe, stay healthy, and of course, stay passive. See you next time.